KUAM TV8, first on Guam.
Half a day and good evening. Welcome to KUAM News Weekend Edition. I'm Matsuki Horiyama. So glad you could join us. Well, who should take responsibility for Guam Power Authority's constant load shedding and Guam Water Works Authority's lack of reliable water service during Typhoon Mawar? Well, the Guam Attorney General Doug Moylan says, according to the 1950 Organic Act of Guam, the governor is, quote, directly responsible for the proper functioning of GPA and GWA and not the CCU. Moylan now calling on the legislature to abolish the Consolidated Commission on Utilities, which he says failed to properly manage GWA and GPA, and to restore the responsibility to the governor. In a letter sent to Senator Will Parkinson, who's the oversight chair of the Legislative Committee on Power and Energy Utilities, Moylan giving a legal opinion saying, quote, the CCU is inorganic and in violation of the governor of Guam's duty to provide these critical services for our people. A draft legislation that would terminate the GovGuam agency and restore that responsibility to the governor were attached to the letter. Meantime, CCU member Simon Sanchez telling KUAM in a phone interview Friday that he's aware of the draft bill and provides this comment.
I'm quite confident that if we look back at the way things were before there was the CCU and the way things have emerged since the CCU, I think there's, by any comparison, Guam has made tremendous progress with both utilities. We're all very frustrated about the recent load shedding. It's occurred because of events that were beyond our control, like the explosion of Cabras 3 and 4 7 years ago. We got a check for $120 million because even the insurance company agreed it was an accident. And then we had trouble getting the permitting for the plant because COVID shut down US EPA, who has to approve the permits, for about a year. So even US EPA wasn't available. And then Typhoon Mawar comes in and delays the completion of that plant.
It should be noted the legislature passed a law to remove politics from the CCU back in 2002. Well, in other news, more than 60 grand spent in recent months for the Guam Attorney General billboards around the island. The latest this month including faces of drug offenders. Julianne Hernandez has the story and what this program has cost taxpayers so far.
Another month and another feature in the Office of the Attorney General billboards and digital ads across the island's busy intersections. This time the focus features 9 new faces, all convicted in separate meth-related cases.
This is part of an ongoing effort by the Attorney General's office to communicate with our client, which is the people of Guam, in order to deter crime, in order to reduce the amount of taxpayer money that's being spent in this entire process from the time that they're arrested to the time that they're housed at the Department of Corrections. Meth addiction has been a big problem in our community. It was the subject of the last election, and we're reacting to it. We're trying to reduce the numbers, as opposed to picking up the pieces by dragging them into court and having the taxpayers pay for everything.
Attorney General Doug Moylan says, admitting this is the cheapest option to deter crime. Moylan says each digital sign costs $800 a month and $640 each time they change out one of the billboard images. Adding the billboards alone costs about $1,600 each to build. According to the purchase orders obtained by KUAM, the expense for the campaign over the past months is $62,399.97. This includes both federal and local funds being spent.
Do I have statistics? Don't have statistics, but we have the experience of every state in the United States. Billboards are a common, cheap method in which law enforcement, both the police departments and district attorneys, as well as attorneys general, use in order to deter whatever the message is that they're trying to deter.
Moylan previously saying the billboards and digital ads send a clear message to criminals, and he says it's an effort he will stick by throughout his time in office. Julianne Hernandez, KUAM News.
The U.S. Coast Guard is finding higher levels of PCBs in the fish around a popular area for recreational activities, Cocos Island. That's what the military branch says after a recent remedial investigation focusing on sampling soil, sediments, groundwater, and fish for PCB, DDT, and diesel fuel. We speak with the project lead and find out more on what this means for island residents. It's an issue dating back to 1944 to 1963 when the U.S. Coast Guard operated a long-range navigation or LORAN station on Cocos Island.
There was electrical equipment that was used out there, and what we have found is most of the LORAN stations prior to any of the environmental laws coming into play disposed of stuff via landfill dumping. It was very standard protocol back then, unfortunately.
Coast Guard engineer Mark Marini from Honolulu speaking with KUAM about that decision making waves over the years. A fish consumption advisory has been in effect at Cocos Lagoon since 2006 when high levels of PCBs or polychlorinated biphenyls were discovered in the fish. It's a toxic chemical banned in the U.S. for its harmful health effects.
Fast forward a little bit to 2015 to 2017. NOAA was asked to come out and do some human health risk on the fish in the lagoon. And so they did biota sampling for not only PCBs, but also DDT, which we were unaware of as being an issue.
The banned pesticide DDT also found in the sediment and fish, prompting the Coast Guard to take action.
We had a project and the intent was to check the island, specifically the LORAN station property, for DDT, along with any further PCB source that may be on the island, and then verify that the diesel plume isn't moving.
Recent remedial investigation finding higher levels of PCBs concentrated at Danos Pier. When asked if that means the fish is too toxic to consume,
it's not like you're consuming straight up PCB oil or anything like that. It's just at a level that EPA has said, hey, this is where we feel comfortable, and they're very conservative on that number. So we want to do the same. But it's in the vicinity of that Dano Pier. If you go out into the outer lagoon, we were getting the same numbers as NOAA, which is good.
Marini adding they didn't find any source of PCB or DDT on the island.
We've combed it over the years, looking for stuff. We did take things out, so we did find things. But at this stage, it looks like whatever's happening in the water is in the water, not on the island.
Blue Ocean Law, the Center for Constitutional Rights, and ACLU Puerto Rico submitting a historic report to the United Nations Human Rights Committee. The report is the first time America's actions in the territories will be reviewed by the committee. The 105-page report details U.S. laws and policies that the organizations believe to be preventing indigenous communities from defining their political future and have rendered them second-class citizens as a result of unincorporated territorial status. The report includes a list of questions they urge the committee to ask the U.S. government to answer regarding self-determination and informed consent for federal and military development in the region.
The U.S. is militarizing Guam, at such an alarming rate. At such an alarming speed. The scope of the military buildup is staggering, and we really do believe that this really amounts to a violation of international law, and we want to basically call the U.S. to account for its sort of continued denial of the right to self-determination.
The Human Rights Committee is expected to discuss the report in its October meeting in Geneva, Switzerland. In regional news, the Northern Marianas College is rebuilding its campus as the students' population continues to grow. Regional correspondent Tomas Manglona sits down with the newly elected NMC student leadership about what their plans for the school and hopes for the future of the college.
These Northern Marianas College student leaders are charting their own course after being elected by the student body to represent them on campus.
We want it to be student-centric, where we are able to see our students succeed in their higher education.
As they return to the classroom, NMC is also starting to rebuild its campus after recent typhoons.
life after the pandemic changed drastically, and I know we'll all work together to bring back the traditional college life to NMC.
Bringing back the community into the college and making it more open so that the community can be shown NMC and the potential it has for the future.
These campus leaders are also looking to provide more peer support.
Hearing from these students that they wanted to see more events focused around mental health and just being able to be individuals right next to them to support them throughout their higher education journey.
It's a journey they hope to inspire others to take on at home as they work to improve campus life and the educational experience on island.
Like staying back here, for me, it was like really worth it because I had so much opportunities here than off island, and I really enjoy everything that we do here.
Tomas Manglonia, KUAM News, Saipan.
Well, the Guam Lieutenant Governor Joshua Tenorio is visiting Saipan. Tenorio spoke with the Northern Marianas College students Thursday morning and met with campus leadership regarding the Green Growth Initiative. In his conversation with students, he discussed regional, local, and national issues. He also stressed the importance of education and giving back to the islands.
Taking the step in pursuing what your passions are and getting either post-secondary education or for some that are into more technical things, getting the trade schools, it really kind of builds a foundation for you to be able to really be involved in the community.
Tenorio also met with NMI Governor Arnold Palacios and toured government facilities. Well, footback is on Monday. The Dallas Cowboys will visit the San Francisco 49ers with Micah Parsons' pass rush, Dak Prescott's efficiency, and the 49ers' defensive line as major storylines to watch. You can catch all the NFL action Monday morning at 9 between the Niners and the Cowboys to cheer on who you got. Watch on KUAM TV8 or streaming on Peacock. Well, keep it here. More Weekend Edition when we return.
Guam's auto appearance specialist, Elegant Reflections, has been providing the automotive industry with professional detailing and car care products at its highest quality, from complete detailing, full interior detailing, exterior detailing, headlamp restoration, hand washing, seat and carpet shampoo, engine degreasing, undercarriage cleaning, paint sealant, fabric protection, paint oxidation removal, and so much more. Visit us at our new location. Call 646-5555 for an appointment. Elegant Reflections, Guam's auto appearance specialist, over 20 years of experience.
Don't need to work, babe, keep the smile on your face. The moments you can't replace, and I'll be around. Whoa. You can count on me. You can count on me for life.
Wherever life takes you, we're always here for you. Calvo's Insurance. Count on us for life.
Watch KUAM TV8 live on Peacock. Check out our live channel, NBC shows, live sports original programming, movies, plus so much more. Visit peacocktv.com/local or download the app and subscribe today.
What's up with the weather? Let's get an update for the weekend.
All right, everybody, not going to beat around the bush with this one. The question on everybody's mind is that weather formation around near Pohnpei and Chooks Way. Does it have any bearing on us come next week? So we're bringing in Landon Idlet. He is the man who is able to translate and distill what Mother Nature has in store for us. So Landon, you actually reached out to us. So what are we looking at?
Yeah, I reached out to you yesterday evening because we really wanted to be communicating this stuff, making sure everyone is maximally informed across the island and the region. So that people know exactly what to expect in the coming days, possibly early to mid next week. We have a holiday weekend. It's Saturday, Sunday. The weather's going to be pretty favorable to be outside. And then we have that holiday Monday, but what's going to greet us on the other side? So we want to make sure people are getting that information, are well informed and prepared to take the actions as needed should things spin up. I'm going to turn my camera around and show you what we're looking at here across Guam. Not bad. We have some spotty showers primarily off to our southwest. That's part of that departing disturbance 97W, which is sitting off to our southwest. This is no longer a threat to us, but it may be developing somewhere in the Philippine Sea. Again, this is no threat to us as it moves away. But the big story now is 98W, the second tropical disturbance. And this is what we're watching closely. in the FSM. So that low-level circulation center, we have this trough axis right across Pohnpei and Chuk. I'm going to turn the satellite down a little bit. Pohnpei and Chuk are right there. That low-level circulation center somewhere just off of Pohnpei. But what we're looking at in the satellite is all that deep convection, the showers and thunderstorms, that's all displaced to the north. So we have a little bit of a shear going on, pushing the heaviest weather to the north of that low-level circulation center. That's the good news in the short term for folks in Pohnpei and Chuk, that it's mitigating any short-term development for those folks. But we have the westerly winds surging across southern parts of Chuk and Pohnpei states that's causing problems there for hazardous sea conditions and periods of heavy showers and thunderstorms across Pohnpei and Chuk. What is going to happen with this disturbance in the coming days? That's what we're going to be watching closely as they get this act together. Much as Mawar did in Chuk State, it sat there in place and it spun for a couple of days, getting its act together, consolidating around one single low-level circulation center. At that point, that's when Mawar started making its move. We expect this one probably to bounce around somewhere in this region for maybe the 24, 36, 48 hours before it starts to move off generally to the west-northwest and up toward Guam and the CNMI. So we've seen a lot of changes over the last 36 hours with the whole wind field across this region. That was one thing we've been looking at as we've been in this active period of weather for a couple of weeks. We've seen the spin-ups in the long-range forecast models for a couple of weeks now. Now we're starting to see the observed conditions changing to support these things. The 98W, it's going to be around Micronesia for a couple of days. Eventually, it's going to be tracking somewhere toward the Mariana Islands around Tuesday, Wednesday, or Thursday. Will this be a tropical depression? Will it be a tropical storm or a typhoon? Confidence is increasing that we will be dealing with a tropical storm intense system sometime next week. Will it be a direct hit to Guam, Rota, Tina, or Saipan? That remains speculative.
So the intensity at this point in your projecting, it's not supposed to be at least like and you know, like we're dealing with uncertainties here and everything is projections at this point. We want to make sure we emphasize that, but basically it does look like it may be a tropical storm. And you mentioned Typhoon Mawar from this past May. We're kind of in the same situation like we were back then, Landon, because we have the weekend to prepare now as we did back in May with Mawar.
That's correct. And so Mawar hit us, it started coming in on a Tuesday and then hit us that later on Wednesday. Yeah. We can be dealing with a similar time frame with this one.
Sports is next. Keep it here.
Honey, do you want some milk?
Do you ever wonder how your favorite products make their way into your local stores? Most arrive on state-of-the-art Matson vessels that transport containers of food, household items, equipment, and supplies into the islands every week. Because we know that you depend on us, we work closely with our partners to ensure that our shipments arrive on time, all the time, so you can find your favorite product when you need them. We transport the region's most precious cargo that supports successful businesses and promotes a better quality of life for our families. Matson is proud to have been the hometown shipping carrier for Guam, the CNMI, and Micronesia for the past 25 years, and you can count on us to be here for generations to come.
KUAM Sports Weekend Roundup is brought to you by Gatorade. Greatness starts with G.
Sports fans, we are taking you all over the world this weekend for a huge lineup of sports on KUAM, on broadcast and streaming. Now check this out. Saturday, Sunday, and Monday, World Rugby Cup. Now we've got a game that's Ireland and Scotland, but for those of you who are going to support our Polynesian brothers and sisters, Samoa, Tonga, and Fiji will all be competing. Make sure to check our programming lineup. Premier League football for you, 2:30 in the morning. Crystal Palace is taking Nottingham. That's on KUM TV8 and on Peacock. Big game there. All right, then college football for you. NCAA, huge SEC matchup. Alabama is taking on Texas A&M. This one is going to be big. Jimbo Fisher, the former prodigy of Nick Saban, the legend, they're going to go head-to-head again. This has become really quickly a big SEC rivalry since A&M, the Aggies, joined the SEC. Michigan and Minnesota, 9 a.m. kickoff on Sunday. Watch it on KUM TV 8 or stream it on Peacock. Number 2 ranked in the country, the Wolverines are visiting the Golden Gophers. You are going to want to watch that. Remember, conference play already started, so every game matters, and in a big way. You know, I put this in there last week, and you guys really, really loved it. I told you, the 8 most intense seconds in sports, bull riding, and you can watch it on KUM TV 11 at 3 a.m. The PBR Camping World Team Series. You guys are absolutely going to enjoy that. We have motorsports for you too. The NASCAR Cup Series is here, and the Bank of America Roval 400 on KUM TV 8 and streaming on Peacock. That is at 4 a.m. Pigskin from the Pro Leagues coming at you early on Monday. Get up and tune to KUM TV 11 because we have got the Ravens and the Steelers blood feud time. These guys are going to leave nothing to chance. They are going to go all at it, and you are going to be able to watch it live 3 a.m. on TV 11. And then 6:25 TV 11. Chiefs coming off that big win last week. They're heading to the Twin Cities to take on the Vikings. And then the big one, we've been telling you all week, Cowboys, Niners. What more do you need to know? I mean, if ever there was a day when you might want to play hooky from work or, you know, neglect your professional work responsibilities, I'm not one to judge. This would be the day to do it because these two teams, amazing defenses, amazing offenses. Somebody's going to win this game. Somebody's going to lose. And this game is being held in the Bay. Huge rivalry in the 90s. It is back, and this is going to be big. So watch it on KUM TV 8 and on Peacock. Kickoff at 9 a.m. Now let's go check out some local martial arts. Tony Rodriguez is a veteran of Kyokushin karate. As a practitioner with over 3 decades of experience under his 4th degree black belt, this form of martial arts is more than a sport to him. It's a way of life.
I just kind of fell in love with the structure it gave me as a teenager, and just kind of the mentorship that was involved there. So I think that's the one thing that I took away from the first few years, is just that mentorship that I was receiving.
He aims to produce champions in competition by championing the principles of this full contact martial art.
We try to teach the kids the philosophies of our founder, Masato Toyama. And to sum things up, it's basically just we're trying to create an environment where the kids can grow in a healthy environment and also become mentally, physically strong in the process.
A goal of the program is not to turn kids into fighting machines, but to teach young minds about the true philosophy of Kyokushin. While it may be manifested in physical striking, the core values lie in the mind.
Everybody does the same things from white belt to black belt as far as exercises are concerned. Where things start to differ and vary is when you start to doing the different kata levels, or even the different sparring levels between students. Nothing is forced, but I think gradually when students see that it's the natural way of things, that's the way we do things, students kind of just jump right in and join in and without even realizing it after a while.
And here on Guam, there's an established lineage with the core foundations unchanging.
For us, it's not so much just being an outlet, but more of harnessing, like I said, the physical, the mental things that kids go through. Because today, there's a lot of distractions, a lot of things that are occurring in our society that we're not really, we don't have like an answer for in terms of like how do we solve these issues. But a lot of these issues, in my experience, is if you put a child into something that has positive values, positive reinforcement, and just a good all-around community environment, I think over the course of time, of course, just like with everything else, practice over the course of time, I think you'll see a positive development in students.
The lesson is simple and resonates naturally with Guamanian values.
The struggle here should be harder than what life is really about, because life will throw you so many different punches, throw so many different challenges, so many adversities, but you as a person, how do you rise to that occasion? Do you rise to that occasion as a warrior, as a karateka, or do you as an average person just be, I'm gonna fold or do something else or try to avoid it, and we try to have them face things, a lot of their fears head on, because there really is no other place where they can do that.
Mm-hmm. The discipline of karate is a lifelong endeavor. And while Tony's advanced to the level of teacher, he'll always remain a student and never forget his start.
Dojo itself has been over 50 years, since 1966. My participation in Kyokushin has been 32 years. Yeah. So, and I was a white belt as well.
And like any good sports advocate, Tony's instruction and the dojo itself allows you to begin a journey of discovery, of growth, and of harmony.
Give it a try. I encounter a lot of parents that say they don't want to force their students or they don't want to force their kids, but in my experience, it's not about forcing, but it's allowing them to grow into something different that they can actually tap into themselves. Unlike team sports, nobody gets cut.
KUAM Sports Weekend Roundup is brought to you by Gatorade. Greatness starts with G.
In 2022, the all-electric Hyundai Ioniq 5 won the award for World Car of the Year. So, of course, the all-electric Hyundai Ioniq 6 just had to go out and win World Car of the Year for 2023. Because everyone knows how competitive sibling rivalries can be. World Car of the Year, 2 years in a row.
Now for your Cold Stone Creamery Birthday Club shout-out submitted this weekend on KUAM.com.
On Saturday, we have a very special birthday shout-out. Happy heavenly birthday to Dad and Papa, to Vicente Escanata, a.k.a. Benny Dendi. We love and miss you tremendously. Until we meet again, Carmen, Daniel, and your grandkids are sending you, Mr. Kanata, all of their love and happy heavenly birthday to you, sir. Maddie Grace Leon girl, happy 10th birthday to you, and we are wishing you an awesome one. Love your family. Rosario Salas, happy blessed birthday to you, Mom, and may your special day be filled with joy and happiness. With all the love in the world, Russ, Belle, Kiki, and KK. And Gabriel Jamas Materni Camacho, happy birthday, champ. Say Mom, Dad, Nana, and the family.
That's it for us here on Weekend Edition. For more news, go to KUAM.com or visit us at KUAM News on Facebook, YouTube, and Instagram. You can also watch us on Peacock. I'm Mitsuki Hirayama. Have a safe weekend, everyone.